So what we've got here is the hook is a 7076 Montana Fly or a TMC 3761. So I'm going to lay down just a little, put a little weight on it. I don't want a lot, just want to put a little. And this is also going to help build the hump in the back. Okay. Now I'm going to take the first thread, which is the gray olive. I'm going to start this. Now, the feelers or the tail on this, what I do is I take a mixture of a UV olive eye stub, and then I take a little bit of the gray eye stub, and I just kind of mix it up a little bit. Then I'm going to pull some of it out. Then I'm going to take this. I know it's a little long, but what I'll do is I'll trim it once I get it set. So I'm going to take this and put it right at the bend. Then I'm going to walk it down the bend just a little bit. Okay. Then I'm going to take this and kind of trim it somewhat of an angle, just to give the feeler. I'm going to go down the bend just a little bit more. There we go. Then I'm going to take my second bobbin of the white thread. I'm going to attach it. And I'm just going to set it right back here. Trim our thread. Now we're going to get our, I use the Mark Pettiging dubbing tool. So what I want to do now is I want to create a section of thread for our dubbing, for the dubbing loop. And whatever dubbing loop material, whatever one you guys like, it'll work. So I'm just going to make it a little, get in there. And then I'm just going to make it a little long, but I'm going to come to the back, close it off, and then I'm just going to set this back here out of my way. Now we're going to take our UV chewy skin. It's got a side that's got the coloration, and then the back of it's pretty dull. So what first of all I want to do is take this and cut it at a little bit of an angle. Okay, for the tie-in. Now when you want to tie this in, I'm going to tie it in with the back of it facing me. And then when I tie it in the back facing me, I'm just going to grab the tip of it. And now what I'm going to do is just come in here and build a little bit of a build up back here at the back of the hook. And I'm going to run this thread to the eye of the hook and leave it. So now we're going to grab the UV chewy skin. Now this stuff's got a lot of stretch to it. Right here at the back, I don't want to put a lot of stretch in it because I want this where the most of the bulk. And then as I start working it my way back, I'm going to start stretching it more and thinning it out. Okay. Tie that off. And now what I'm going to be I'm basically done with this thread, so I'm going to get this one out of my way. This is for the dubbing loop. Now we need to prepare what goes in the dubbing loop. So first of all, I'm going to take an olive CDC feather. I'm going to try to find one. What I'm looking for one is a fairly long one. And then I'm going to take the CDC feather. I'm going to kind of straighten everything out. I'm going to set that on the, we're just going to set it right on top of the magic clip. Now I'm going to take a little bit of the UV olive, no, the UV, light UV, and then I'm going to take some of this emergence in a gray olive. Okay, so what I've done is set all that material right on top of the magic clip. And this is a little work table. Now I'm going to take this spool, it's mono, you can use wire, and then what I'm going to do is set it right on top of it and then pop it down. And what I've done is I've pulled it down into the clip. I'm going to keep it tight and I'm going to pull my and so what I've done is I've pushed everything down in there. Now that I'm going to take the other half of it and now what I've done is I've just clipped it all together and held it. Now what I'm going to do is come in with a good pair of scissors, and you want to get rid of this CDC stem. Okay, so now what I've got is the stems out of there. Everything is nice and neat in the clip. So now what we'll do is we'll take our thread, and then I'm going to insert it into this thread. I'm going to slide it right up as close as I can to the Scud. And before I wrap it up, I'm going to slide it a little closer. Now, I don't know if I can do this and where you can see this. It's a little backwards. Then I'm going to spin this. You got to be somewhat careful because if you spin it too much, I have broken the thread. So I'm going to pull it down, have a little more control down here. Alright, then I'm going to kind of get it all picked out a little bit. Alright, then I'm going to come in, I'm going to grab it with a pair of hackle pliers. So I've clipped the dubbing tool off. Now I'm going to take this thread that we had sitting over here. Now my first wrap of thread I'm going to go over the top, and then I'm going to bring the material underneath it and then wrap it around. Then I'm going to bring my thread up over the top. I'm going to come around with and then I'm going to do it again. And as you can see, the white thread is basically pretty much disappearing into the body. Now I'm going to fold this up out of the way. And clip it. And I'm going to come in here with the white and just finish up the head. Whip finish. We'll get rid of this thread. Now when you do the weave, what's nice about it is I can take all this material that kind of ended up on the side towards me and push it down underneath it. And then I'll take my brush. And you can adjust the dubbing on it. This one's a little light. I could have got a little thicker up there. And then I'll come in. And I like to kind of taper this a little bit. Now we'll make the eyes, and all I'll use is just a black Sharpie. One on each side. Okay, and then we get the coating. All I'm using is UV Nonsense. And what I'm going to do is just spread this around, trying to keep the shape of the Scud in mind. And I'm actually working it down the side too. And then we'll grab the light. And there you have it.